Hi, I'm Dan Hume, and you're watching my friend Chris perform his first takeoff and landing in a Tiger Moth. He's just completed his pre-takeoff checks and got clearance, and now he's lining up to take off. After taking a moment to prepare himself, he opens the throttle to full, and the aircraft starts to accelerate. At the same time, the prop wash will start to pull it to the right, so he has to use the left rudder to keep it straight. And now, as the tail comes off the ground, his speed increases, and it's not long before he's airborne. That's a good climb out, and thanks to the magic of editing, we can now see him on final approach for his first landing. Landing is the hardest part of flying any airplane. With the throttle at idle, Chris has to perfectly judge his glide to the aim point on the runway without letting his speed increase. As he gets close to the ground, he raises the nose just a little to let that last bit of speed decay until he touches down. Pretty good for a first try. Once he's convinced the landing is successful, he opens the throttle again in order to take off and do another circuit. This is called a touch and go landing, because you touch down and then go again straight away. And it's another good takeoff. On his second try here, Chris has come in a little bit too high, so he floats a long way down the runway before finally he loses enough speed to land. A small bounce, but still not too bad. In the background you can just hear another Tiger Moth engine being started for another flight. And in this clip you can see the approach from much earlier on. In a Tiger Moth, you can't see directly in front of and below you. So to line up on the runway correctly, you can't try and look at it directly. At the start of your approach, you have to pick a landmark that's at the end of the runway, and then line up on that. For Cambridge's runway 23 grass, there's a convenient formation of several trees in a field opposite the runway, so you can see those clearly as you come in. If the trees stay in the same place in your field of view, you're still in line with the runway. Chris's approach was a little high here, but he brings it down nicely, and then the round out is perfect. I hope you'll join me in the comments to congratulate Chris for passing this milestone on the adventure of learning to fly. A big thank you to Cambridge Flying Group for helping me out with this video. If you're interested in learning to do what Chris has just done, then visit Cambridge Flying Group on Facebook or at cambridgeflyinggroup.co.uk.